Hey everybody, welcome back. We last left off finishing Biohazard and then trading on our new kitten, and now we're in Varrock to do some diary tasks and then do the dig site quest. First, pull out your coins, chronicle, food for your kitten, strike runes and gear, a pickaxe, 4 barley seeds, 2 cakes, and at least 100 death runes to sell to the rune shop in a bit. Up first, run a chronicle to the Champions Guild and go inside to talk to the Guildmaster about the map pieces and to get the key from Elzar's maze. Then head southeast to the hot patch and withdraw your tools to plant your barley seeds, which we'll later use to make barley malt for the Forgettable Tale of a Drunken Dwarf quest. Then head northeast and cross the agility shortcut to satisfy an easy diary task. Then there will be a pen to the north that has a ram, which you'll kill for its skull for Rag and Bone Man, before continuing east to kill the unicorn and bear in the woods for both their bone and ribs for Rag and Bone Man. You should easily be able to use a tree to safe spot nearby, and if you haven't given bones to a stray dog yet in Varrock for that easy diary task, keep one as you'll be able to do that in a minute. Now go north to the mine and mine an iron ore for another Varrock easy diary task. Then to the west of the mine are some bushes. If imps never dropped a cadaver berry, which you'll need for Romeo and Juliet, pick one from the bush nearby. And if you need more red berries, recall that you'll need one for Prince Lily Rescue, Hand in the Sand, and at least one to make another red berry pie for the Giant Dwarf. You'll want to pick some here as well. Then head southeast through the gate toward the exam center, talk to an examiner there to start the dig site quest, then search the north-facing bookcase south of the 2 chests on the eastern wall. I added a map reference of the route. You'll find a beaten book with a scroll on it, which you'll read to start Elemental Workshop 2, and you will need to keep it in order to make the Mind Helm at the end of the quest, otherwise you'll have to come back and get another book. Chronicle back to the Champions Guild and go north into town. If you just got the cadaver berry, take it to the apothecary to get the potion for Romeo and Juliet. Otherwise, or then, head east to the Chaos Altar southeast of the rune shop, where you first got the orb for the Enter the Abyss mini quest, and check the altar's inscription to get the incantation for Merlin's crystal. And if you kept the bones for the stray dog earlier and have yet to give it one, there should be one on the way. Then go to the rune shop and sell your death runes 50x at a time before hopping to get the best prices, and purchase whatever elemental or strike runes you need. Note that you will need 8k gold to purchase 400 buckets of compost when in Hesidius, but you should be able to grow at least 1 cat between now and then. Then, go north to the bank to deposit everything except your unstamped letter for the dig site quest, unless you happen to have your Mahogany Homes client in Varrock like I do. In which case, you'll pull out your hammer, saw, 1 steel bar, 17 planks, reference the wiki to locate your client's house, then do the standard repair their furniture, get to level 12 construction, and now of course we can make the 3 beginner stash units in Lumbridge and Varrock. When done, go north to the housing agency to get another client, do that one whenever able. Now, as an aside on when to do your next Mahogany Homes client. By now, we've visited all 4 potential cities that have clients, Varrock, Falador, Hesidius, and Ardougne, so you should have completed your first construction contract, and perhaps at least one more if you happen to have gotten lucky enough with low plank requirements and having a convenient client location. Now, since there's no way to know which town each player's client is in order to avoid bloating both the document and the video with sections of, if your Mahogany Homes client is here, do XYZ every time we go to any of those 4 cities, I'm just going to say, do your contracts whenever able. Once supplies have been exhausted, the route will circle back to reference where everyone should be and where and when to get additional planks and other supplies. Now for everybody, head to the Varrock Museum and go upstairs to talk to Historian Minus to get the kudos you've collected from certain quests. We should now have a total of 53, covering 28 from the Natural History mini-quiz, and 5 from each of Demon Slayer, Rune Mysteries, the Grand Tree, Haziel Cult, and Observatory quest. Now that we have over 50 kudos, there's 2 important things we can do. First, go back downstairs and talk to Hag Helen to satisfy a Varrock easy diary task, which required 50 kudos, and to get the sealed letter for the dig site. Then talk to the information clerk in the northwestern corner to get 1,000 mining experience for having over 51 kudos. Note that later on, right before finishing the Ardougne Easy Diary, we'll get 101 kudos so that we can get that last 2,500 experience in crafting to bump us up past level 30. Now return to the bank and have out your chronicle, sealed letter for the quest, 2 ropes, a pestle and mortar, a vial, tinderbox, cup of tea, leather gloves, and leather boots, though if you wanted to, you could bring out boots of lightness to swap them as needed, and a cake just to be safe. Head southeast all the way back to the exam center, and from here, follow the quest helper or quick guide to continue the dig site quest to completion. There's a couple notes I'd like to make though. One is that when you're doing the panning activity during the quest to get the trophy, you'll also get the opal that you need for a few minutes later in the quest. As a note, panning resulted in multiple opals and multiple jades. We want to keep the jades specifically for the Necklace of Passage, and any extra opals you get will be made for a few niche pieces of utility jewelry later on. A little bit after the panning part, you'll have to sift for some charcoal. Not only do you need the one for the dig site, which you'll have to grind, you also need one for RFD goblins and one for desert treasure. Now, once you get to the end of the quest and use the tablet you obtained from the underground chamber on the archaeological expert, you turn in the dig site, gaining 2 quest points, 15,300 mining XP, should be level 35, 2,000 herblore XP, which should be level 19, and 2 gold bars, and on top of that you get the 3 certificates you got through doing the exams that you will want to keep, because we'll then go to the Varrock Museum to exchange those for a fruit blast for Recipe for Disaster, another cook's quest. And finally, you get the ability to clean finds in the Varrock Museum for 50 more kudos, which is the activity we'll be doing prior to getting that 2,500 experience in crafting. Now to take a little detour to Blast Furnace by using the minigame teleport, then banking everything downstairs except your coins. Go to the ore cellar to the northwest and purchase 10 coal and 15 iron in order to make 5 steel bars and hopefully 5 iron bars for the Giant Dwarf quest. If you want the best prices, world hype after buying 5 of each. Then of course, bank everything again, and now just have out your coins, chronicle, all 3 dig site certificates, and 2+ cakes just in case we need to recover a little bit of health after falling during the agility course in a moment. Oh, and if you haven't been able to give bones to a stray dog yet, bring them to do so. Now, chronicle back to Varrock, but before going to the museum, we're actually going to go northeast to the agility icon on the map to run the Varrock rooftop course until we're specifically at 20,906 agility experience, which is exactly 1,500 short of level 35, which we'll receive from completing the Depths of Despair quest in Hideous later on. Conveniently, level 35 is also basically a requirement for Icthlarian's Little Helper to help jump across the pit easier and faster during the quest. And doing 1 lap of the course is also a medium diary task. Once you've reached 2,906 agility XP, if you haven't yet, find the stray dog and give him some bones, and then also if you haven't yet, head to the square to purchase a newspaper from the stand for 50 gold for yet another easy diary task, before returning to the museum. Talk to Hag Helen to trade in your certificates to get, quote, something to drink, which will be a fruit blast for RFD another cook's quest. If you happen to accidentally drink it, you'll have to make your own from scratch back at the gnome stronghold via gnome cooking. Once you're done talking to him, enter the section off area to the south to clean unclean finds in search of the artifacts to turn in for kudos. You will have to remove a set of tools from the rack on the southern wall and put on the leather gloves and boots. Then, spam click the specimen rocks pile to quickly fill your inventory with unclean finds, and then use them on the cleaning table to start the cleaning process. While you can spam click the rocks pile, the cleaning process itself is automatic and you'll have to wait it out. Now, as an aside to discuss the cleaning finds activity in general, we're specifically looking for 5 artifacts: the pottery, old symbol, ancient coin, and old coin. Once you find any artifact, you need to show it to an archaeologist nearby who will tell you what number display case it's in. Then you need to go across the rope and find the relevant display case, put it in there, and you'll get 10 kudos. Then go back inside the roped off area and dump your remaining items in the boxes in the southeastern corner to get some rewards. You have a 1 in 51 chance, which is about 2%, to find a clean necklace, which you'll then want to show to an archaeologist nearby to unlock the ability to enchant ruby necklaces into dig site pendants at level 49 magic. The pendant can teleport players near the barge north of the dig site, allowing for quick access to the island, and then direct access to the island once we finish Voyage later on. You also have a 2 out of 195 chance, which is about 1%, to get a 500 experience lamp that can be used on any skill above level 10. If you get any of these, use them on herblore. And I do want to note that I was able to get one, even though it only took me 3 inventories to get all 5 artifacts, but for the sake of getting level 20 and then level 30 herblore, since those are kind of important milestones, I will keep my XP in mind because I've also gotten 3 genie lamps that I was able to put on that as well, so I just want to note the herblore experience differential that will appear later on. And of course, other useful items you can obtain are more uncut opals and jades, some kohler iron ore, iron arrow tips, darts and knives, and big bones. Like I mentioned, it only took me 3 inventories, but if for whatever reason you need to bank some loot, do so as needed. Then once you found all 5 and put them in their respective case, talk to Hag Helen again to start the Voyage quest, which required 100 kudos, you should now have 103, then go back to the information clerk in the northwest corner to receive the 2500 crafting experience, bumping us up to that level 30, and 2500 mining experience, which should put us at level 36. Once you found all 5 artifacts, gotten your kudos for it, and gotten your XP, minigame teleport to Fishing Trawler and bank everything at the chest, including your kitten, to pull out your coins, and 2 to 3 rusty swords depending on how many ham members dropped before. Now go southeast to the other docks and have Tyndall Marchand turn your rusty swords into a usable weapon for 100 gold. You only need to do it once, but the reason we have multiple is because there is a small chance to fail. Then purchase 15 pineapples from the charter ship nearby, then bank the swords and pineapples to withdraw a tinderbox. Still leave your cat in the bank. Talk to Murphy at the docks to go out on the fishing trawler to satisfy the final Ardougne easy diary task, then talk to Murphy on the boat to bail early. You'll appear on the shore north of the port near Tower of Life, and from here, run northwest to the Ardougne bar and talk to 2 Pints to collect your Ardougne cloak, which provides infinite teleports to the Ardougne monastery, and just like the Boots of Lightness, this cloak is glued to you unless otherwise specified, so just keep it on even if I don't mention it. And the big kicker, 200 death runes instead of 100 when trading cats into West Ardougne. And as a side note, the West Ardougne General Store actually buys items for 37.5% more than the standard General Store, 55% of out value versus 40%. So you could bring your 8x bolts of cloth and any other junk or miscellaneous items you want to sell the next time you bring your cat. And then of course, as I mentioned before, the first 100 of your 200 death runes you'll want to sell to a rune shop, as you'll need 8k gold to purchase 400 buckets of compost the next time we go to Hasidius. And the 2500 XP lamp, which of course we have to put into crafting as Herblore isn't even close to level 30 yet. We're now level 31. Now home teleport to Lumbridge and head up to the bank. If you don't have 2 ashes, use the tinderbox you got to light 2 fires and then pick up the other 2 logs just to have a couple more in reserve. Now bank while you wait out the burn timer. Pull out your coins, ashes, or an empty space to pick it up in a moment, your fruit blast, which you will add the ashes to, a Green Man's Ale, Rotten Tomato, and Eye of Newt. These are all for Recipe for Disaster, another cook's quest. Now collect your ashes if needed. The other ashes are to make the skin paste for Prince Ollie Rescue later on. Add your ashes to the fruit blast, then head downstairs to the cook to give him the items, completing another cook's quest, gaining 1 quest point, access to the bank chest at the 0 subquest level in the basement, which is eventually a great source of cooking experience as we can buy grapes and each level of subquest increases the stock of grapes. And once we get to 35 cooking, we can make wines, which are an awesome 200 XP each for the simple cost of a jug of water and a grape. But for now, enter the dining room to the north to begin the feast. You'll have to watch a cutscene, and then you'll want to interact with the goblins to start RFD Goblin Generals, Pirate Pete to start RFD Pirate Pete, and the Dwarf to start RFD Mountain Dwarf. Now go back to the south and talk to the cook in the kitchen about protecting the pirate, then ask him every single option you can about fish cakes. Now go downstairs and purchase some grapes, and with other things before. I won't mention it specifically every time, but whenever you go down into the basement, buy whatever the stock of grapes is to later make wines, because we want to get as high of a cooking level as possible to not burn the Karambwan during Taibo Wanai Trio. It's about 6% chance of success every 5 cooking levels. And then, if you happen to need milk, egg, flour, and a bowl of water for the RFD Mountain Dwarf quest, you can purchase those from the chest as well. Now bank everything except your coins, use your Ardougne cloak to teleport to the monastery, run north to the docks, take the boat to Rimington, then run far north past the crafting guild and past the gate to use the agility shortcut on the western wall of Falador for a Falador easy diary task. Now we're going to bank at the West Bank to prepare for the RFD Mountain Dwarf quest, as well as to smelt the ore we bought in Tempoross for the Giant Dwarf. So, bank and just have out your coins, as well as 10 coal ore and 15 to 17 iron ore. Then head east to the furnace, smelt your coal into 5 steel bars, and then smelt your iron into hopefully 5 iron bars, because recall, without a ring of forging, there's only a 50% chance to smelt iron. Then go back west to the pub and talk to the bartender to learn how to make Asgardian Ale for 200 gold. Then purchase 4 Asgardian Ales and add gold coins to them to make Asgardian Ales for RFD Dwarf. We're going to want out coins, the egg, pot of flour, bucket of milk, bowl of water, leather gloves, which we need to equip, and the 4 Asgardian Ales. For RFD Goblins, we'll need bread, bucket of water, combine that to make soak bread, orange slices and purple dye, use a knife on the orange and then add the purple dye to make dyed orange slices, combine your fishing bait and gnome spice to make spice bait, and pull out the charcoal we got during the dig site quests. Minigame teleport to the Berthorpe Games Room, then head south into the pub to purchase the entire stock of 12 Wizard Mind Bombs for Dragon Slayer and to have multiple miscellaneous magic boosts later on. Head downstairs via the trapdoor behind the bar to bank the Mind Bombs, then head back upstairs and go southwest to the tent with the quest icon and talk to Denel to start Death Plateau. Continue south to the exclamation point icon on the map below the Heroes Guild, then go down the stairs and then west to the pub. Pick up the 3 dwarven stouts on the tables to have some +1 mining boosts, and talk to the old dwarf and give him the 4 Asgoldine ales until he agrees to make the rock cake. There'll be a pause in dialogue where you'll want to grab the 3 more dwarven stouts as they spawn, then harass the dwarf 3 more times to give him the ingredients, bowl of water, and then 100 gold until he puts the rock cake on the table. If you are not wearing your gloves, you will drop the rock cake when you pick it up, so put the gloves on first. Then pick up 3 more dwarven stouts before leaving. Head back upstairs the way you came, but now head southeast to the middle of the lake in Taverley and talk to the Lady of the Lake to continue Merlin's crystal. She'll send you to Port Sair, which we'll do in a little bit. Now head northeast to Goblin Village and head down the ladder in the northeast building to talk to Mudknuckles. Then talk to him again, and again, and again. Watch the cutscene where he explodes, then collect the Slop of Compromise for RFD goblins. Now, regarding the rock cake we just got, we can't actually turn in the quest until it cools, and it takes 4 hours to cool in the bank, and we actually need the 1000 cooking experience the quest gives to get up to level 20 to do the Hasidius Mess Hall, so we need to finish the quest in the meantime, and to do that, we're going to head south out of Goblin Village and then northeast to Ice Mountain to punch an Ice Fiend to death to instantly cool the rock cake. Now we should be able to home teleport again, and then go into the dining room to use the Slop of Compromise on the frozen goblins to complete RFD Goblin Generals, gaining 1 quest point, 1000 cooking XP, which should be about level 16, 1000 crafting XP, bumping us to level 32, and 1000 farming XP, which should put you to level 14, but since I missed that first little bit in Catherby, I'm at 13, which is fine, because 13 is the requirement to grow jute seeds in a hops patch, which will be the final Kendaran Easy Diary task we'll need to complete. And jute fibers will eventually be woven into nets for drift net fishing. And of course, increased stock in the cellar chest, which means more grapes. And then use the rock cake on the dwarf to complete RFD Mountain Dwarf, gaining 1 quest point, 1000 Slayer XP, putting us at level 16, 1000 cooking XP, which should put you at level 19. Note that for me, my cooking XP was changed a bit, so I'm going to be a bit lower, and more increased stock in the cellar chest. Now go into the cellar, purchase some grapes of course, then bank to have out 2 things of flour, 2 things of water, 2 pie tins, and 2 red berries, which you'll make into 2x uncooked red berry pies before leaving the bank. Then fill the remainder of your inventory with the raw trout you got from Zaya a bit ago. Head upstairs, cook your raw trout until you get to level 20 cooking, which should take 6 or 7, then bake your red berry pies until you cook one successfully, then return to the cellar, world hop to purchase more grapes, and I think we're gonna call it there. Didn't get quite as far as I thought we would this video, but to keep it at a digestible length, we're going to save the Hasidius Favor and Mess Hall portion for next time. But should be coming pretty shortly since I've already got part of it recorded. Thanks again for joining everybody. See you next time.